In 1955, the world lost one of its greatest scientific minds to a disease he refused to fight. But the most chilling part isn't what happened to Einstein. It's that the same silent threat is growing inside thousands of people today who feel perfectly healthy. One of those people was a woman who, decades later, would face the exact same ticking bomb that Einstein did. To understand her story, we first have to understand the clinical mystery that Einstein couldn't outrun. Albert Einstein spent his life explaining the universe. His theories changed our understanding of space, time, and gravity forever. His name has become synonymous with genius. Yet, in the final days of his life, Einstein was faced with a problem he could not solve. Doctors had discovered a dangerous condition growing inside his body. They offered treatments, he refused. According to reports, Einstein believed it was tasteless to prolong life artificially. He had lived his life and he would accept what came next. Unfortunately, a few days later, he died. The cause? It wasn't cancer. It wasn't a heart attack. It wasn't a stroke. It was something far less familiar to most people, a hidden threat, a silent, ticking time bomb. The same ticking time bomb would later claim the life of many unsuspecting victims, like this woman. She was an elderly woman living with the kinds of health conditions many people develop as they get older: high blood pressure, arthritis. Nothing unusual, nothing that suggested a medical catastrophe was approaching. Like most people, she was living her life, unaware that a deadly process had been unfolding inside her body for years. Then one day, she suddenly felt unwell. The pain was severe, deep in her groin. No, it wasn't chest pain. It wasn't breathlessness. It wasn't symptoms most people associate with a life-threatening emergency. However, within moments, she collapsed. A neighbor rushed to help. Emergency services were called. When paramedics arrived, they found her unconscious. Then something unexpected happened. She regained consciousness, and for a brief moment, there was hope. She was transferred urgently to the hospital. Unfortunately, shortly after arriving, her condition deteriorated dramatically. Her heart stopped. Doctors and nurses immediately began resuscitation. Every effort was made to save her life, but despite prolonged attempts, she could not be revived. How could someone go from talking normally to cardiac arrest in such a short space of time? As with many sudden and unexpected deaths, the answers were not immediately obvious. Her medical history contained familiar diagnoses: hypertension, hypothyroidism, osteoarthritis, conditions that affect quality of life, but none that would usually explain such a rapid collapse. The clinical history appeared to raise more questions than answers. Why the sudden groin pain? Why the brief loss of consciousness? Why did she initially recover only to deteriorate again? And what could cause death within such a short period of time? The investigation would have to continue after death. Yes, a post-mortem was required. What did the post-mortem examination show? Let's find out. The external examination revealed signs of the desperate efforts made to save her life: bruising to the chest from cardiopulmonary resuscitation, medical lines inserted during emergency treatment. But externally, there was little to explain her sudden death. The examination moved inside. The heart was enlarged. This was not surprising, as years of high blood pressure usually leave its mark. The coronary arteries showed some calcifications, but there was no complete blockage. There was no evidence of an acute heart attack. No obvious explanation for the speed of her collapse. The lungs were examined. There were no blood clots, no significant lung disease. Then, Then the attention was turned to the abdomen. Here, something unusual became very apparent quickly. The tissue deep within the abdomen were stained with blood. Yes, blood was present where blood should not be, evidence that significant internal bleeding had occurred. The search continued for the source of this bleeding, and the answer was found. It was found in the aorta, the largest artery in the body. The aorta had become massively enlarged. What should have measured only a few centimeters in diameter had expanded into a balloon-like structure. It was heavily calcified, weakened by years of damage, and on one side was a large tear. The fatal event had finally revealed itself. The cause of death was now obvious. It was a ruptured abdominal aortic aneurysm. An abdominal aortic aneurysm, often called a AAA, AAA, develops when a section of the aorta gradually weakens and bulges outward. Most aneurysms do not cause any problems, but they can be serious because there's a risk that they could rupture. The aorta is the main artery carrying blood from the heart to the rest of the body. With every heartbeat, blood is pumped through this vessel under high pressure. Over time, factors such as aging, high blood pressure, and atherosclerosis can weaken the wall. As the wall weakens, it begins to stretch. The aneurysm slowly grows, often without causing symptoms. In this case, the aneurysm had become enormous. Its length was about 14 centimeters. Eventually, the wall could no longer withstand the pressure. A large tear developed. Blood escaped rapidly into the tissue. The severe pain she experienced was the moment the aneurysm ruptured. The collapse occurred as blood pressure rapidly fell. The brief recovery? It was temporary. It was the body trying to compensate. But the bleeding continued, and ultimately her body could no longer compensate. Why does this matter? Abdominal aortic aneurysms are often called silent killers. Many people who have one experience no symptoms at all. They can grow unnoticed for years, sometimes decades. The first sign may be a sudden pain, collapse, or even death. The risk increases as the aneurysm enlarges. Once rupture occurs, survival becomes a race against time. Even with emergency surgery, many patients do not survive. This is why awareness matters, because unlike many sudden causes of death, abdominal aortic aneurysms can often be detected before they rupture. Lessons for the living. In the United Kingdom, men are routinely offered a simple ultrasound scan through the National Health Service Abdominal Aortic Aneurysm Screening Programme during the year they turn 65. The scan takes only a few minutes. It is painless, and it can identify aneurysms long before they become life-threatening. When detected early, aneurysms can be monitored carefully. Some can be repaired before rupture even occurs. This transforms a silent ticking time bomb into a condition that can often be managed safely. Knowledge changes outcomes. Early detection creates opportunities that do not exist after rupture occurs. This particular patient was not someone who would routinely have been invited for screening, but her story highlights why understanding this condition remains so important. Aneurysms do not always announce their presence, and when they do, the consequences can be devastating. Albert Einstein helped humanity understand the workings of the universe. Yet the disease that killed him was not hidden among the stars. It was hidden inside his own body. The same silent threat was growing inside this woman, unnoticed, undetected, year after year, until the day it finally revealed itself. And that day, it was too late. The sudden pain, the collapse, a desperate fight to save her life, and ultimately the tragic ending, the silent, ticking time bomb, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the moment it will finally explode. For Albert Einstein, the ticking time bomb remained hidden until the end. It did for this woman too. But their stories do not end here. They become a warning for the living, an opportunity for others to recognize what they could not. Because every autopsy tells two stories. One, how the person died, and two, how the living should live.